actually is crazy. My first property that I've ever did in the city of Detroit, I'm gonna see if it's still up and kicking right now. It may not be. It would sit on this corner. It is, and it's still there. This property here is the first property that I ever did in the city of Detroit. First property. A friend of mine, actually my best friend Ben, brought it to me and was like, hey, we have a good friend of the family that actually is losing their property. Their mother died. He asked me to come in and help them pay the taxes on the property. I came in and helped them pay the taxes. I would say probably about 6 to 8 months after we paid the taxes on the property, the guy said, you know what, I can't afford to pay you back and do the work. So I actually went in, me and Ben actually went in, started doing the work on the property. Within 6 months, we had the property finished. And I know you say 6 months is a long time, but remember, I had a full-time job, Ben had a full-time job, and we'd go after we got through the work. Took us about 6 months to get the property up and running, get it rented out. As soon as I got it rented out, we found a buyer. That buyer bought that property for $52,000. I made $46,000 on, by the time I did the renovations and all the rest of it, I made $40-something thousand on it. And I was like, this is a business I need to be in. I mean, I was working part-time, doing real estate and full-time job. It was it. But that was my first house I ever did. I think I was like 20 something years old. So, you know, and from that point in time, it just grew. So the crazy part about it and how I started in the business actually was literally I was trying to help people save their homes. And then I went from helping people save their homes to when I would actually save them, 9 times out of 10, these people couldn't afford. 1 out of 10 people actually did enough to actually be able to take their properties back. And the 9 times out of 10, they would actually give me the property. And typically the street was blighted. So when I say blighted, there was nothing but rundown homes in these areas. So I would actually go to the city to find out who owned the property. And once I found out who owned the property, I would find out if there were blight infractions, meaning if there was, you know, they didn't have the grass cut, they didn't have the weeds, they weren't taking out the garbage, there was garbage dumped. And so I found out that there was a ton of properties out there that the city had all of these blight infractions on, which means that basically there was fees and fines on all of these properties. And so what I did is I found out who owned those properties, and I went to them and said, listen, you have tens of thousands of dollars worth of fines from the city of Detroit. Is there a way that I can, if I can assume those blight tickets from, you know, for you in your behalf? So basically I would have them sign the properties over to me, and I would now be responsible for those blight tickets that were associated with these homes. And so at that point in time, what I would do is I would go down to the city. So now I'm getting these properties deeded over to me basically for free. Some of them might be like, oh no, you got to pay us $2,000 or $5,000 or whatever, legal fees or whatever else. So I'd have to pay, I would say, a minimal cost to actually get these properties. Then I would go down to the city and ask the city, hey, if I actually keep these properties up, or can I bring them back up to standard, will you get rid of these blight tickets? I mean, in order for me to flip these properties, I had to cut the grass, I had to fix the properties, I had to put the roof and the windows. I had to do everything that was associated with the property anyway. So basically, I got these properties for free, put in the rehab dollars, and then I actually was able to go ahead and sell it. So, you know, these companies wanted $10,000, $30,000 for these properties, but I was getting that for like $2,000 or $3,000, putting about $15,000 to $20,000 into them and selling them almost every month for $60,000, $70,000, and $80,000. And so basically, every month I was just continuously buying properties and fixing up properties and selling properties. And I had a machine going where I spent, really, to be honest, the majority of my time flipping properties versus being at my full-time job. But one of the things is I always talk about working smart and playing hard. So what I did was I worked smart. I mean, I would get up early. I would make sure all of my customers were satisfied, all my orders were ready to go. This is when I was in sales and marketing. Made sure I touched base with all the key people, make sure that my phone was always available. Back then, the bad thing about it is we didn't have access where you could actually have the Wi-Fi or internet somewhere else. So I leave my computer at home up and going. So if they checked the VPN, they would see that I was logged in and going. So that was the good part about it. I just couldn't work remotely. So, but anyway, with all of that said, I wind up making it work. And I was burning the candles at both ends to make it work. And I was getting properties virtually almost for free, dumping all my rehab into them and selling them, like I said, literally on a monthly basis. So I started in the flip game. I learned so much from the flip game, and it's basically I graduated from the flip game to wholesaling, and then from wholesaling, the next step was lending. And I spend the majority of my time in the lending space and coaching individuals so they can actually learn what I've done to be successful in this business. It's a great business, and it just keeps getting better day after day. So, with that said, it's one of those things where I just want to keep educating you guys and informing you of what the next steps are to be successful in this business. All right.